Hello, today I'm going to be making some earrings, including the ones that I'm wearing right now. I'll be making 4 different ones and they're all relatively easy, so your skill level doesn't really matter. Mine are made with polymerclay, which is an oven-baked clay, but you could also probably try air-dry clay. So let's start with the first earrings. For the first earrings, I wanted to do a simple flat back design, so I began by using some grey clay and I rolled it out till it was flat. This actually took quite a long time because the clay was old and it wasn't conditioned. Then I made some orange clay, but I ended up making it too chunky, so I added some liquid clay, but then I made it way too, liquidy? Soft is what I mean. So then I put it in between 2 sticky notes and put it in the fridge, and that actually helped make it harder. I made a few random cuts and then I put it onto the grey clay so that it looks nice. I used a small oval cookie cutter to cut out the part with the orange bit, and then I used a small circle to just cut out the plain grey stuff. And before I put them into the oven, I used a sharp tool to indent some holes into them, and I baked the earrings at 100 degrees Celsius for about half an hour. Although depending on the clay you use, you should follow the package's instructions. Once they were baked, I used a nail file to sand down the corners, although you should probably use sandpaper. And since I didn't like how small the holes were, I used the same sharp thing to make them bigger, if that makes sense. I chose to use silver jump rings and I glazed them before I connected the jump rings together, and lastly I used some super glue to attach the studs. Those are the first earrings complete, and I'll show you what they look like at the end of the video, but for now I'm going to move on to the next earrings, which are frogs. I began by cutting out 2 equal pieces of clay to roll them into spheres. And excuse my head coming into the frame, I was clearly focused on making the pieces be equal. These spheres are the main body for the frog. I also rolled out 4 small spheres, but you only need 2, and they're gonna act as those things that hold the frog's eyes. I have no idea what those are, but those eye things. Here I'm just indenting a hole for the eye pins to go into. For the eyes, I just used some black clay and I made 4 small circles to put onto the green semicircle thingies. Lately, I've been having some issues with my phone, so I didn't record some parts, but here is what the frog looks like. I blended the eyes into the body and put it in the oven. Once the frogs had baked, I used a blade to scrape off all the dust and stuff that was stuck to the frog so that it would look nice. I took out the eye pins, attached them to earring parts, and then I used super glue to put them back in so that they would be more secure. This time, instead of using fimo glaze, I used UV resin as it's more secure, and this was actually my first time ever using UV resin. I didn't expect the resin to take such a long time to cure. I thought that like after a minute it would be done, but it was still sticky. For the third earrings, I decided to do another flat back design, so I mixed some white clay with sculpey translucent clay, and then I made some small dots, circle thingy, using blue and orange clay, and I put it onto the white clay. These earrings are definitely the easiest to make out of everything in this video. Once I positioned all the spots how I liked, I used a cookie cutter to cut some shapes out, and basically these earrings are like the same thing as the first earrings. If you're gonna make your own earrings, I really suggest that you file them down. This way they're gonna look much better, and if you see any dust, you could just use a blade and scrape it off. The last earrings that I decided to make were some mushroom earrings, and I've seen so many people do this, so I really wanted to try it. For the main body of my mushroom, I made some like hot pink clay, and I sculpted 2 equal parts into cone shapes. If you're going to be transitioning from really pigmented colors such as red to colors like white, then you should clean your surface very thoroughly because the white can turn pink very quickly. Once I was finished with those parts of the mushrooms, I put it in the oven to bake because I didn't want to ruin the top part when I added the stick thing underneath it. For the stick thing that I was talking about, which is, I'm assuming, just a stem, I used some white clay and shaped it into a mushroom stem shape. Even with the help of liquid clay, it wasn't sticking very well, so I tried using some foil so that it would hold its place. One of them survived the oven, I guess, but the other one broke away. I just ended up filing it so that it would look nice, and I used UV resin to stick them together. Once I fully coated both mushrooms in UV resin, those were all the earrings complete. So now I'm going to show you what all the earrings look like. Roll the clips. Those are all the earrings for today's video. These frog ones are probably my favorite. I really hope you enjoyed the video. See you next week. Bye!